Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here, the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host Donnie Hoover. Donnie, I sound kind of hoarse.
You do. You sound like the old, what is the guy's name with the deep voice, the movie commercial guy?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. As a ring announcer, I learned a very valuable thing on Thursday night. It's okay to have a beer before you start. Just make sure you've got water for during the rest of the show. So yeah, I am reaping the rewards of my ignorance.
Yeah. You gotta learn the hard way. You shouldn't drink before a wrestling show anyway, but you wasn't out there bumping around.
I'm not out there to hurt anybody.
Right. Except for yourself when you trip over the ropes or something.
Well, that happens on occasion. Now you're just picking on me.
Right.
So anyway, on this episode of WrestleHorror, we wanted to talk about that same show that we were just discussing, and we wanted to just do a recap of it and give our take on certain matches and things like that. The first thing I got to say about it, Donnie, is yay, it didn't rain.
Yeah, for serious. We've got it all done, huh? So finally got a full show in outside.
Right. And the temperature was even a little better than it was last month.
Yeah, like I say, it was still a little hot, but it was pretty pleasant. We even brought out the black canvas and hoping that it wouldn't be too awful hot, and it worked out okay. We covered it up before the show, so the sun wasn't beating down on it, but it worked out good. Nobody complained about the canvas being too hot.
And everything just was better this time around, I think. The entire Full Throttle Thursday at Fortress.
Yeah, like I said, everything went smooth. All the matches went off great, and we did flip flop, a match or two, and but it worked out. Everybody was cool with it. But yeah, it went off good. The crowd, it started off a little thin, but they came in there when it got started. And so the crowd turned out to be good. And like I said, all the fans was happy. A lot of people from my old neighborhood and from high school and all that showed up and said, hey, so it was nice to see a lot of old friendly faces. And, but the crowd was into it. We had a lot of good people come up to us and talk to us. And then, the Obetz Fortress staff was, happy with everything. The mayor was happy with everything. And so, yeah, it was a win for everybody.
And that show I thoroughly enjoyed in spite of my throat error.
Well, you didn't know you'd made a throat error until a day and a half later, though.
Right. That's for sure. Well, let's talk about something. I mean, it started out kind of not the way we expected.
Right. Yeah. I said, in typical New Ohio fashion, things just kind of start off weird and you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there running through commercials and the card and everything, and is it Bryant Huff?
Mm-hmm.
He calls himself the side piece.
Yeah.
And decided he was going to take my microphone and go on a rant.
Yeah, it was, like I said, a new guy in the area. We've never seen him or heard of him, and he just decided to make himself make himself at home in the ring for some reason.
Well, you know what? He didn't stay in that ring feeling at home for very long.
No. Luckily, we have somebody on the staff that is kind of took offense to his disrespect of just getting in the ring and grabbing the mic.
Yes, she did. Harley Fairfax. At the end, the side piece looked like a busted piece because Harley decimated him.
Yep. Yeah, he was looking for a fight, and she came out and gave him one, and got the win on him and put it on him good. Of course, she has that MMA background too, so that helped her out.
Right. And it was definitely an impromptu match. It just kind of fell into place, and
yeah. So they wasn't booked on the card or nothing. It just one of those things that happened.
So then we had Brandon Fields versus
Riley Rose. Yep.
Rose. Yes, thank
Yep.
you.
And without the Golden Idol this time, the Golden Idol wasn't able to make the show, which I wouldn't say we were both too disappointed on that. We could, that didn't hurt our heart that much, I would think.
No, but when you got Jake Ely tagging along, it's just as bad.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah, that's all I was getting ready to say. Was since the Golden Idol couldn't be out there, of course, Fields had Jake Ely with him, so they were like two buddies, peas in the pod, and trying to keep the Temple of Terror group, in check and keep each other, keep getting the win, trying to get the wins and all this and that. So,
Well, I really wanted to look at both of them and say, okay, which one of you is the champ right now?
Yeah, neither one of them had the belt though either. So it's just weird. They wear it out, but apparently when the idol's not there, they don't. He keeps the belt. So apparently the Golden Idol's the champ.
Undefeated.
Right. He's never been pinned. I guess he can make that claim.
Okay, I've never been pinned either.
Right. So you could be the Temple of Terror champ.
Right.
So Fields and Rose, and from what I understand, it was a really good, hard fought match, without Jake Ely getting in there every now and again, apparently.
Well, Riley Rose has got that high flying style, which varies with more of Brandon's. He's more grounded than Riley is.
Yeah.
So you've got two different styles trying to take each other out, and it went backwards and forwards. Of course, sometimes it went more backwards every time Jake Ely got involved.
Right. Yeah.
But when Jake Ely wasn't involved, then Riley Rose was more than up to the task.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, his high flying definitely helped, because Fields is a wrestling technician extraordinaire. He's probably one of the most technically sound wrestlers I've seen. And so, I think Riley knew, he might not be able to match move for move with him on the ground and technical wrestling like that. So he went to his high flying stuff, and it worked for a little while, but, unfortunately at the end of the day,
the numbers game.
Right. So that's how it works.
Referee didn't see it. So,
yeah. So, yeah, and the second one was actually supposed to be the third match, but like I said, these were the two matches that we flip-flopped. And so the second one was Jeffrey John versus Pac-Man Justin Xavier.
Yeah, arguably two fan favorites to begin with.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey John can match Xavier move for move, but Xavier's got the advantage with those long limbs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he can what benefits him without that is he can move around the ring quickly. Yeah. Like he can get across the ring in a matter of 2 steps as compared to 3 to 4 of Jeffrey John's. And he can get up top, he can get to the top rope in 2 steps. He doesn't have to climb ropes like fat guys like me have to do. He just takes 2 steps and he's up on the top rope, which is actually part of one of his finishers that he called the Cubert. And so I mean, that's definitely an advantage when he can use that height and the agility that he's got, because you go to think he's in one place and he's somewhere else. And I'd say that's probably a big challenge, to keep up with.
Well, and he doesn't look like the type of wrestler you would expect.
Right.
He's tall, he's lean.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that with the extra reach is really propelled him forward.
Oh yeah.
Even in, he's been training with, who was he training with besides?
No, he was training with RPW or APW down in Cincinnati with Tim Litz and them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He trained with some other superstar, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I think he's had 2 or 3 different people he's trained and worked with. But yeah, exactly. Definitely, whoever brought his size into it, they definitely taught him how to use it.
Right.
And so, like I said, a normal wrestler that wrestled against him, their main goal is would probably be to get their hands on him and keep him close, you know.
Right.
So, but he's starting to pick up some momentum. You know, he had a slow start, you know, when he first started with New Ohio, and so he's gotten 2 wins in the last 2 shows. So, you know, he's starting to pick up a little steam here.
Yes, he is. Great kid too. I really enjoy watching him work.
Oh yeah.
So after that match, we had a newcomer, Jacob Sawyer, against you know, a hometown favorite, and he gets the crowd going. James the Baker Hickey.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see this match. I was in the back taking care of some stuff, but I did see the aftermath where Baker was, of course, dancing after the match, and the spare tires from our WrestleFit class, you know, got in there and like got a picture with him, video doing some dancing with him, and he was just dancing with the crowd and having a blast. So I mean, that's about the only part I saw of that match, to be honest.
Well, I got to tell you, Jacob Sawyer is a big man. I mean, he outweighs the Baker by at least 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And he just was trying to use brute strength instead of maybe going back down to some basics. It was all about his strength with him, and it ended up being his undoing.
Oh yeah. You got to be multi-versatile and have different tools in your tool bag there.
Exactly. Oh man, my voice.
Yeah, I'm trying to step in and help you out here. I know your voice is struggling, so I say we'll try to get through this stuff quick if we can.
Okay, all
not
right.
Keep you talking too long. So yeah. I'll say the next one was our intergender tag match, which, you know, like I said, at first I wasn't too much into the intergender wrestling, and not because you know, like, you know, women don't need to wrestle men. I think women are just as good of wrestlers as men, you know, in a lot of ways. You know, but we let, you know, or like I said, Harley and the side piece, you know, did some wrestling there at the beginning, and I've done intergender matches the last couple of times. And yeah, if I'm being bluntly honest, the reason I wasn't into them so much is just because I was brought up old school where you don't hit women. And I felt, you know, it made me feel weird. And we've had this conversation before, and it just made me feel weird. But, you know, it's like the more, you know, it's more that the intergender wrestling is being accepted and the mixed tags are being accepted. And, you know, like I said, the women can hang, you know, with the men just as easily as, you know, men versus men. And so usually they surprisingly put on like really good matches sometime. If you get that right woman and right man and they're wrestling each other, it can be magic. So, you know, we're being more open to it. And, you know, plus we're a family friendly promotion. So we don't, again, it goes back to, we don't want to promote, you know, violence against, you know, men against women. But, you know, like I said, it's starting to become accepted more, and people are, you know, seeing it for what it is. And, you know, inside I'm a fan of it. I was just, you know, iffy about using it. So we've done, you know, starting to do some more intergender stuff. And this time it was Austin Blaze, the mean girl, and then with Lana Lennox against Cody Hawk and Shauna Reed. So, you know, this was one I was really looking forward to, and ended up being a great match.
It was, you know, neither tag team ever disappoints. I mean, I've been watching Cody and Shauna for years, and on the other side of the coin, ever since Austin came on to the scene, and seeing him pair up with Lana, they both have their shit together.
Oh yeah, like I said, they're both, you know, a good set of team. They're a good set of tag teams, and it was back and forth the whole time.
Right, it was. But in a fluke, Lana pinned Shauna.
Yeah. One of those mental mistakes, you know, that it happens.
They did little lapse in concentration's all it takes.
Yeah. And I think there was something like something between Shauna and Lana, or Shauna and Cody, because she didn't look happy after the match. And so I don't know if like Lana may have grabbed some trunks or tights. I didn't see anything like that, but or I don't know if like you know, like I said, I don't know what happened. I just know that Shauna was visibly upset at somebody, after the match, or maybe she would have been upset with herself because she got pinned. Maybe she could have been mad at herself. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to her about it. Right. But after the match, Austin and Lana were celebrating their win and was walking back to the locker room, and just out of the crowd and out of the blue, Amos comes up and just smacks Austin right in the face with a pair of brass knuckles and lays him out right in the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't get that. What was the point? What is Amos trying to prove?
I have no idea. I know he sent that promo to us where he was calling out Austin and saying Austin was ducking him, which said Austin ducked him at the last show, which wasn't the case. So we got rained out, but he's saying something like Austin caused it to rain, or Amos ain't all there. I don't know. But apparently he has some issue with Austin Blaze, and he's letting him know. And just laid him right out, laid him out right there on the parking lot. And Lana had to get involved because Amos was trying to, do some more damage. Right. But I don't know what he's thinking. He's got a screw loose. And I said, and bad thing about it is he made that promo and he wasn't even scheduled to wrestle Austin. He was scheduled to wrestle Party Mike Howard. Right. So like I said, good thing that Party Mike did come out. They didn't even do the formal introductions or nothing.
I didn't have a chance.
No, Party Mike saw what was going on with Amos and Austin, and he decided to step in and take matters into his own hands. So he came out and just got into Amos, and they just started all over. They were wrestling all through the crowd.
Yeah, they were. And Party Mike, he was trying to take it to Amos. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, he's putting it on him there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a younger wrestler, but he knows what he's doing already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a lot of good things for him.
Oh yeah, and like I said, they was out in the parking lot through the crowd, and I think Party Mike tried to order a beer at the food stand or something, or get a slice of pizza or something. I don't know what he was doing, but they worked their way back around the ring, and then they finally actually got in the ring and got the match started.
Yep, it wasn't the end that Party Mike wanted, but
right, yeah. Yeah, and of course Amos, used the brass knuckles. He didn't actually hit him with them, but he used them, took them out, and tossed them on the mat to distract the ref. And that was enough to do the dirty, nasty stuff he needed to do to get Party Mike in that submission hold and get the submission win.
Well, when Amos locks in that submission hold, you're giving up.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah. I've probably only seen maybe one or two people get out of it, but most of them cannot get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Party Mike's learning. He'll learn more, and the next time around, he'll know about that weapon, and he'll do everything to neutralize it.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think that'll be the last you'll see of these two, because Party Mike didn't seem too happy about, the way Amos was acting, holding and carrying himself.
Did 2020 take its toll on your fitness? Well, body slam the pandemic and get back in shape with WrestleFit. This innovative program combines all the fitness regimens you'll need to reach your goals. The WrestleFit workout will bring strength training, cardio, and the world of professional wrestling together in a fun, new, and exciting way. Have yourself a blast working out with dumbbells, kettlebells, slam balls, ropes, tires, and an 18-foot full-size wrestling ring. The WrestleFit workout isn't just for pro wrestlers. The WrestleFit workout is for everybody. At the Now Training Center, you can pursue your fitness goals and learn how to train like a professional wrestler without all the bumps, bruises, and slams with the WrestleFit workout. Go to www.newohiowrestling.com/training for more information, or stop by the Now Training Center at 625 Eastgate Parkway, Blacklick, Ohio, 43004, Unit 6137.
What about our next match?
The next one was actually one I was looking forward to, and as far as I can recall, these two have never stepped in the ring against each other and never competed against each other. So it was exciting for me, and that was that Matt Taylor and Eric Smalls. Everybody loves Eric Smalls. Matt Taylor doing his thing with his book of Taylor or whatever he calls it.
He's the guiding light.
Yeah, and they carries that Bible around, or that book, of his, and Yeah, and like I said, it was the match you would expect it to be, and like I said, it was the very first time that they had competed, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun to watch. The shenanigans that incurred, and other things that just went on in this match were fun.
Oh yeah, yep. As usually as happens with Eric Small's matches, it's hard to not have fun watching them.
Right.
And yeah, surprising enough, if you would say, Matt Taylor and Eric Smalls, who's going to win? 99 out of 100 people is going to say Matt Taylor, but Matt or Eric Smalls got him with a surprise roll up and got the pin on him. So and the crowd reacted. They loved it and got a big cheer for Eric Smalls. And so yeah, it was a very fun match.
It was definitely.
And I've already been contacted and hearing rumors that they want to do it again. Matt Taylor wasn't happy with the results and feels he got cheated, of course, and so they're wanting to do it again. So we're going to see if we can't make that happen.
I hope to see that. Another thing that I loved about that match is on that day 4 years ago, the very first match I ever announced for you had Eric Smalls in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Eric Smalls and Queen Aminata. Yeah.
And then 4 years later, I'm still announcing Eric Smalls.
Yep. Came full circle, didn't it?
Kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of proud of myself for that.
There you go. Yep. Hanging in there and doing good.
Yep. Now we just got to get some decent sound equipment.
Yeah. Well, that's actually in the makings. We're actually talking about that. So yeah, we need to upgrade our speakers and get, some more equipment to make it easier and more efficient.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely in the works.
And so everybody can hear it.
Right. I might just have to make you a little jealous and get one of them Rodecaster 2s or whatever.
Be an asshole. Let's see how you are.
I'll use it for this podcast too, and be like, "Hey Jim, hang on, let me push one of these buttons, these pretty buttons here." You'll be like wanting to borrow it like a library book. Like, can I sign out the Rodecaster?
Damn it! Now I got to go buy my own. See what you did?
All right. Well, I haven't got it yet. I'm just talking crap right now.
You're making me think.
Right.
All right. So the last three matches of the night were all title matches.
Yeah. Yeah. We saved all the title matches for the end, and they didn't disappoint. I know that.
No, they didn't. The first one was for the New Ohio Wrestling Tag Team titles, currently held by Warhorse. And they went up against a team of Saturn Price and Espiritu Maya.
Yeah. Maybe
not the best gelled team.
I
saw a few miscues, but that happens sometimes with new teams.
Yeah, that was the first time they had tagged up. And, actually, I thought their looks kind of, complemented each other. I thought they looked good together. But, yeah, like you said, a couple of miscues, which comes with, two guys trying to work out a new team and get that communication and getting that vibe together. But, yeah, like I said, if that team continues on, I could see some promising things for them.
Yeah, I myself too, because you've got the best of both in the tag team. You've got the Hoss and Bryce, and you got the High Flyer and Espiritu Maya.
Yeah.
And this match was all about Hosses. I mean, Espiritu Maya is definitely the odd man out in this match.
Right. Yeah. Three big men and then High Flyer, high flying luchador,
He kept Warhorse on their toes sometimes with that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, speed outdoes strength a lot of times. You could be as strong as an ox, but if you can't catch them and keep up with them, you're going to have some trouble.
But there was also a lot of underhandedness going on with Warhorse in the ring too. You know that.
Yeah, that's normal Warhorse. That's what they do.
I mean, really, Saturn Price and Espiritu Maya really came out looking strong through a good portion of this match. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Right.
Because of the solid tag team of Warhorse.
And
I think if Price and Maya just do stick together, like you were mentioning, and start working as a tag team, I think that they would be capable of taking the titles from Warhorse.
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple of them out there that have good shots, and it's just a matter of putting in that time, getting that flow going, getting to know each other a little better, and I think that they could make things happen for sure.
Definitely. It was a good match with both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you bring us in?
Yeah, the next one is for the Arnold Championship, and we already know who was in that one. So it was the Arnold Sports Festival champion, Superman Onyx, and he got to go 1-on-1 against Paragon. Paragon wanted a shot and thought he had the tools to get the job done. So we gave him the shot and told him to go for it and see what happens. And apparently or unfortunately for him, it didn't go as he was planning on it.
This is for sure. He tried. I'll give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he went for a ride, as Onyx calls it. Onyx said he's taking whoever he wrestles, he's taking him for a ride. So he launched him across the ring, half a dozen times. I don't even know how many, but yeah, he took him for some rides. And Paragon did, get the upper hand there for a while, but in the end, Onyx got that spear in, and it's hard to get up from that. I don't know if anybody's even kicked out of his spear yet.
Yeah, I'd put Onyx's spear up against Bill Goldberg's.
Yeah.
Or Reigns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he puts them in there.
So he definitely, you're right, Donnie. There's no getting up once he hits that spear.
Yeah. Like I said, and kudos to Paragon. He went in there and he gave it his all. And and like I said, normally he can get a little underhanded, but from what I can tell, most of it was pretty clean. He just didn't have the strength that Onyx had. He couldn't overcome the big muscles and the size and even the speed. He was able to shy away with the speed or whatever, but sooner or later, Onyx eventually caught up to him. Caught him, right. And that's where it started going downhill.
Well, got to keep trying.
Yep.
And that brings us to the main event of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for the New Ohio Wrestling Championship. Current champion is Marion Fontaine.
Yeah. Yep. A crowd favorite. Yes.
Yes. And
your buddy.
Buddy the Thunder Chicken.
Yep.
Jake Ely is challenging for the belt.
Yep. Of course, in tow, Brandon Fields right behind him, just like in the first match. Vice versa.
They're attached at the hip. I get
yep. Like I said, I'm sure the Golden Idol kind of wanted him to do that. He probably gave him the advice and the directions to stick together and try to make things happen. So it worked in the first one. Brandon Fields got the win.
Right.
But not so much in the second one. And to be honest, Jake actually got pinned in like 8 seconds. It's like crazy on that. They thought that was great. They thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, but see, if I was in the crowd, I would have said, "Well, shit."
Right.
Yeah, really short.
Yeah, well, they got their money's worth because, of course, Jake, went out and grabbed the mic and from you and threw a big fit, but claiming he wasn't ready and he didn't even have his hat off and just doing what Jake Ely does and basically goaded referee Papa Smurf, Keith Smith, and even Marion Fontaine into restarting the match. And we left it in that we leave the matches in the hands of the referees. So, we try not to get involved if possible on the management side. And Papa Smurf, okayed, and Marion Fontaine okayed it. So they restarted the match and started over, even after the 8-second quick pin.
Yeah, I'm going to be teasing him about that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he won't live that one down.
I kept getting on the microphone at various times and Thunder Chicken.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of crowd out there giving him a bunch of grief.
The crowd was great. I mean, it was.
Yeah, and one thing I liked that we forgot to mention was Marion Fontaine got driven to the ring by the Flickinger Legal Group, one of our sponsors, and one of their little Jeep cars. It was like a little miniature, like a what are them called? Power Wheels. It was like a Power Wheels type thing, but yeah, it was all done up and had the Flickinger Legal Group, logos all over it, and they drove him to the ring, and it was pretty funny. The crowd was cracking up at it.
Yeah, and Jake's like, "Where's mine?"
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I had to fight the urge to say, "You're too short to drive a car."
Right. Well, he probably would have fit in that one. He probably could have reached the pedals.
But he did take the fight to Marion.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll never doubt his skill. He's definitely a talented wrestler. He's just an annoying talented wrestler.
Yes, I do not disparage any of that. We pick on each other a lot, but yeah, his skill is undeniable. His tactics leave a little to be desired at times,
Yep. Hmm.
but definitely a wrestler's wrestler.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he can go if he gets in there and focuses and wants to wrestle, he can go.
Yep. Instead of complaining about something.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but in the end, he didn't get the job done. And Fontaine, of course, Fields, tried to get in at different intervals, and he even got brought in the hard way with a big slingshot at one point. So, yeah, that's what you get for getting up on the apron. But yeah, at the end of the day, Fontaine pinned Jake for a second time in the same night.
did.
Mhm.
So it's like doubly proved you can't beat me yet.
Right.
But then it started to get interesting after the end of the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we got Brandon Fields, Ely. Everybody's trying to get into all this match stuff.
Yeah, and they attack Fontaine, start putting boots to him and all that.
Right. Yeah, and it turns out that once they regained control of the situation, Marion grabbed the mic and challenged Fields and Ely to a tag team match.
Yeah, well, they regained control of the match because Superman Onyx came out. Yeah, Superman Onyx came out to the ring to give Fontaine a hand because Jake and Fields was doing the dirty deeds to him, giving him the business. And so yeah, as soon as they saw the big Superman coming, they decided that was enough.
Yeah, because they may be sneaky, but they're not stupid.
Right.
So yeah.
And saying that brought out the challenge. Fontaine grabbed the mic and basically issued a challenge, long story short, of Marion Fontaine and Onyx versus Jake Ely and Brandon Fields at the upcoming Zucchini Fest show on September the 5th. And so that match has already been and signed and everything, just that quick. And another stipulation that's been added to it, and Fontaine and Onyx have both agreed to this, is that if either one of them get pinned during this match, whichever champion gets pinned will lose their singles championship. So yeah, they have a chance to not only win a tag team match, but also become a singles champion if they're able to pin one of these two guys.
Wow.
Yeah, so that just makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. That puts a lot more value to this match.
Yep. And like I said, this is the first time we even spoke about it. I haven't even announced it on anything new Ohio related yet. So WrestleHorror is getting the breaking story.
Too bad it won't be out for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a show. It was fun. It was nice to see the crowds again. I'm glad it didn't rain.
All right.
Don't drink beer without water. What else you got, Donnie?
No, that was it. I just wanted to go over the card and thank everybody. Thank the Flickinger Legal Group and thank Fortress Obetz and the city of Obetz. They came out and supported us. And like I said, the crowd was great. They was into it. A lot of kids having a lot of fun, and like I said, a lot of old friends and stuff come up that I hadn't seen in a while. So that, them coming and showing their support, meant a lot to us as well. So, yeah, it was a great night overall. Like I said, everybody seemed to have fun. Again, no complaints from anybody. And, the Obetz Fortress was happy. The mayor was happy. So, we can't complain. It was a win all around.
It was. And it's not going to be very long before we do it all again.
No, yeah, September 5th, Labor Day weekend. We're there that Monday for the end of the Zucchini Fest.
Yep. And then I'm going to Rhode Island.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be, a week after or that weekend, right?
That week.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do Facebook Live if I've got enough signal.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I guess we can tell everybody because we just talked about it. Unfortunately, Terry and I will not be able to go to the Conjuring trip right now. So we had to back out and are going to have some people fill in our spots. We have another commitment we have to fulfill in Orlando for a business marketing week at a convention down in Florida. So, it's going to be all business for us down there to learn, try to grow everything and make it better. But unfortunately, it coincided with, time and scheduling and, how much money we had, how much time we could take away from our day jobs. And we just couldn't make both trips work. So, we had to unfortunately put, business first and get that handled. So we had to back out of the Conjuring trip, which bummed me out because I was really, really looking forward to it. And I was really, wanting to get in there and see what we could find. And because just like Jim, I'm a hopeful skeptic, and, I haven't really seen a whole lot of things happen yet to convince me that 100% stuff is out there. So that's what I was wanting to get from the Conjuring house. But I could never know this, we start, this convention is going to change things for us on the way we do business. And, once we get this business up and going, we'll definitely have to plan a trip back.
Well, I've got to say that if I were in your shoes, I would do the same thing.
I appreciate that.
I mean, now that there's more opportunities to go back, it probably makes you feel even better that you can go back.
Right.
But first, we thought they weren't going to be doing any more bookings after the end of the year.
Yeah, and that would have really bummed me out if I knew there was no shot of ever going back.
But now there is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that makes it easier, and it probably made it easier for the decision.
Yeah.
But
and like I said, but the things we're going to learn down there is going to help, the New Ohio Wrestling. It's going to help our training center, and even more important, just as important, it's going to help, the WrestleHorror podcast and the WrestleHorror group, do all the stuff that we need to do. So, definitely a needed week of learning and networking and hooking up with people that can take us to the next level and the next step. So, we're definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, cool. I can't wait to see what comes out of that. For the WrestleHorror podcast, I am Meathook Jim, along with Donnie Hoover, aka Shank Dorsey.
Mm-hmm.
This is the WrestleHorror podcast, and we will see you on the next show.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets: Facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on YouTube at the WrestleHorror channel. And you can also find us on our website, www.WrestleHorror.com.